Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ryal Thomas. This is going to be, I think, and I hope, a very interesting show. The show is titled The Dark Side. And by no means, before I get started with this, I just want to make it clear, by no means am I trying to condone some of the negative acts that were done to people in the past. But I just want to say so many things in regards to this topic. We all have a dark side, whether it's publicly known or not. There are things that I have done, I have said. There are things that you have done, that you have said, that may not be in line with your character today. So I'm going to talk about the dark side that includes so many things that may be questionable or may be not acceptable in what we are presently doing and what we may do in the future. I've been looking at over Facebook and these other avenues of information, and there are a lot of individuals talking about what happened years ago, what happened last month. And we must keep in mind, sometimes the dark side can bring about light within yourself, within other individuals. I look at America, it's so much talk going on about slavery and what happened 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and maybe even 70 years ago, and to some degree, maybe even yesterday. But we must remember, we as individuals have a dark side that we may not want to talk about or accept or deal with. And America is like that. America has a dark side. Just about every country has a dark side, what they had to do or what they were doing at that particular time. But it doesn't mean that we as Americans and we as individuals have to stay in the dark, because things are happening right now. Things are happening right now that are moving into the light. And you may feel that it may be a slow process, but see, it's moving. It's moving in a positive way. Exactly what I feel and what I see. See, don't get caught up in the media. See, hate sells. And you must remember that. Hate sells. Don't look at people of the opposite race and think that they are against you. If you've created or developed a friend over the last decade, maybe the last couple of decades, and that person has been good to you regardless of what color they are, don't let the negative publicity confuse you. Start to make you rethink how you feel about an individual, because as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. You're trying to make me feel that I need to fear someone or question someone because of their skin color. Whatever happened to judging someone by their character, judging someone by the way they treat you and by the way they treat others? You cannot go home where you shouldn't go home and watch a TV show or watch breaking news and all of a sudden let it make you feel absolutely hatred towards someone of the opposite race. See, that's ridiculous. And see, it's almost a trick. It's a tricky, tricky world. And it almost appears to be where they're promoting this hate to keep the division there. Because once you constantly expose someone to so much hate, it starts to grow. And you start to question yourself, and you start to question others, and you start to think to yourself, is this really happening? Do these individuals really feel that way about me? The media starts to brainwash you and start to take away your love for your fellow man. It's absolutely ridiculous. So there's always a dark side to something. You may see business people, or business individuals, I should say, and you may look at them and go, wow, he or she, they have it made. Look at what they're doing. You have no idea what this individual has said, has done to get where they are. You have no idea what has been said and what has been done. And hopefully, if they have a dark side, and that dark side has propelled them to the present time, in the present time, they're able to spread their wealth. They're able to look at themselves and say, you know, I remember doing some things and saying some things that I shouldn't have said to an individual. I remember doing some things to an individual that I shouldn't have done. But now that I'm in this position, I'm going to give back. I'm going to take my earnings. I'm going to take the things that I can give to individuals to make a better life for them. Because you don't know what a person has gone through to put their children in college. You don't know what a person has gone through to raise their children by themselves. You don't know. You don't know if they went in the grocery store when they were younger and maybe took a pack of bologna or took a pack of hot dogs. But now they're in a position, wow, it just dawned on me. That bologna and that pack of hot dogs fed my child for that moment, for that day. And now my child is in college getting a master's degree. So that dark side may become a side of light that shines in your life or someone else's life. So we all have a dark side. So these pictures that are circulating through Facebook and all these pictures that they're showing about how people were treated years ago, don't let that brainwash you. Don't let that put your light out for what you're trying to do. Because see, it's a new time that's coming. It's a new generation that's coming up. This old generation, they're slowly declining. They're slowly declining. But it's a new generation with new ideas, with new things going on. And as long as the media or someone can put that negativity in your mind that someone is against you, do you understand that they are slowing your progress down? Because you're getting up in the morning and all of a sudden, news break, this person was shot. I'm not saying that injustice, that is not happening. Yeah, there are some questionable acts that's going on today. Yes, there are. I'll be the first to say this because I'm not trying to condone things. What I'm trying to do is tell you that you don't have to fall for the hokey doke. You don't have to fall for that. If your neighbor is of a different race and you've been waving at him every morning and you guys been maybe sharing coffee together before you go to work, and on the weekend you invite their family over to eat and they invite your family over to eat, don't stop those actions because of breaking news. Don't stop those actions because of what you've heard or what the majority of the people are talking about. You have to understand, again, it's a tricky, tricky world. And you have no idea what's behind all of this. But if you maintain your integrity and you maintain being decent to one another, man, love will get you through this. Love will get you through this. Do you understand the importance of love and unity? Man, you can't take a group of people of one race and put them over here and a group of people of one race and put them over there and think that a unified group of people is not going to be stronger. Yes, they are. People who pull together of all races, they share ideas and they understand what the next race may be going through. And they understand what that race may be going through. But by the time they pull everything together, see, they're pulling everything together in unity. With unity, I should say. You cannot have a group of black people over here, and a group of white people over here, and a group of Hispanics over there, and think that we are not going to find fault in that group. You can't do that. But if you pull everybody together and everybody is on the same page to bring about a positive change, change will come at the benefit of all. We have to understand this. We have to understand this. Let me tell you a little story real quick. I remember maybe around 15 years ago, I was with this young kid. He was 8 years old. We were out in this county, and this elderly man came out the store, and he called this kid, this black kid, boy. And the little boy was, the young boy was upset. And he said, Ryal, did you hear that? Did you hear that man call me boy? And I said, listen, and I won't call his name. I said, listen, do you see the age of that man? That man is almost 90 years old, probably. He probably grew up at a time where that he was calling everybody boy. I mean, I'm a boy to him. You know, this is what I was saying. I remember this like it was yesterday. But the boy was still upset. So we were sitting there in the truck, and all of a sudden, it must have been his grandkid. His grandkid come out the store, and he looked over at his grandkid and say, boy, will you get on over here and hurry up? We have to get back to the farm. Now, you can't be in that store all day. That's what the old man was saying to the kid. And I looked over at the young guy I was with, the young kid I was with, I should say, and I said, did you hear that? I said, you cannot judge everything as being something negative. That's something derogatory. You cannot look at everything as something being an attack on you. You don't know why this person said this. I knew at that particular time, and you know, whether he was or whether he wasn't. I knew he was almost 90 years old, and I knew that he grew up at a time where that everybody is a boy, especially young kids. So, boom, we said that. I said that about maybe 3 years ago. That young man came up to me and he said, you know, Ryal, I never forgot what you told me. And I've seen that happen in my lifetime, where I've looked at things and automatically thought that someone was being or saying something very negative to me. But the more I got to know this individual, he wasn't saying anything negative at all. He was giving me constructive criticism, trying to help me. And I went to this individual because he was going through, because this is what he's telling me, that he was going through some issues with his family. And he said the individual that he had thought was a treating him in a very derogatory way, reached out and helped him. And I won't say what he did, but because of the help that that individual received from that man, he's graduating this year from college. See, sometimes you can mess your blessings up, man. You can mess your blessings up based on what's in your mind. And you have to understand that what's in your mind is not necessarily in the minds of other individuals. It may be just you. It may be what you've been exposed to. It may be what you have been taught. It may be what you have been seeing. It may be what people have been telling you all this time. But it's not the reality of the person that may be dealing with you. It's a brainwashing. They're brainwashing you to feel a certain way. And if you continue to feel that way, you are part of the division, because you don't want to hear nothing that this individual has to say to you, because you've already made your mind up. You've already made your mind up that this person is against you when the person is not even thinking about that. Just because you hold the door open for someone and they don't say, thank you, that doesn't mean that you need to turn around and curse them out or say, well, you could have at least said thank you. That person may have a million things on their mind. And Lord knows if it's a person of the opposite color and you have this negativity in your mind and you're automatically assuming, oh, I guess they thought I was supposed to hold the door open for them. No, the person, have you ever walked past the person and actually didn't even see them? I mean, you know someone was there, but your mind is somewhere else and you walk right past them and you just don't see the person. You can't automatically put your thoughts in someone else's mind. But see, all this stuff that's going on, that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. You may be involved in an interracial relationship. Now you keep hearing and seeing all of this hate. And then all of a sudden, you've been going home kissing your husband or your boyfriend or your wife or your girlfriend. You've been taking flowers. You've been suggesting activities to do. But now, because all of this hate and these negative messages that you have seen or heard, you start to pull back. You start to feel a little bit confused when you're in public with this individual. You start to look at people and say, I wonder why they're looking at us. Oh, so-and-so. Let me tell you something. This is tickling to me. Let me tell you something, man. People ain't thinking about you. Those people, the majority of those people could care less who you with, what you're doing, and what's going on. They just may be looking at a nice looking couple. They may not even be looking at you. They may be looking at a bird that's flying outside the window or something. But because they're looking in your direction and because of the negativity that you have been exposed to, you automatically pick up on the negative. See, it's a dark side, man. It's a dark side to all of us, but we must remember that we need to move into the light. I remember a TV show back in the day, it was a haunting or something, and this little lady used to say, come into the light, and was trying to get this little girl out of the darkness. And it reminds me of that because there's so much darkness going on right now, according to the media. But it is not as dark as the media is portraying it. People are hopping on this bandwagon to get 5 or 10 or 15 minutes of fame just to get in front of a camera and express to other individuals who may not even have themselves together. They may not even have themselves together. But see, people look for something to gravitate towards, especially if they feel it justifies them, if they feel it justifies the way they think, or maybe someone hasn't got as far as they wanted to get in life. And they start to blame other individuals for the lack of their determination for what they shouldn't be doing. And you start to look at people, well, the reason I didn't get the job is because, this guy of another race, he got the job. They didn't give the job to me. I don't know why. All right, now see, listen how you're explaining it. See, I'm already detecting an attitude. All right, but so you never looked at the fact that you may not be qualified. You never looked at that. You automatically assume because this individual was of the opposite race that he automatically or she automatically got the job because of their skin color. And I'm not saying things like that doesn't happen. What I'm saying is that you got to look at the reality of things. Get your mind out of the darkness, the dark side. Get your mind out of the darkness, because everything that you are thinking is not necessarily true. And again, let me remind you, I'm not saying that some of the things are not true. I'm saying everything that you're thinking is not true. You'll find out in life that the less attention you pay towards negative people and negative things and negative actions, the further you will go in life. Because see, you don't need that around your spirit. You don't need that around your spirit. This hate, regardless of what color you are, in the end, it will consume you. It will destroy you. It will take away the love that you have for your family, the love that you have for your fellow man, the love that you have for everything, because hate seems to justify your feeling. Hate seems, oh, look at him, or look at her. Now, what he think he doing, or what she thinks she doing. Why are they riding through here? Or see, why all these questions? We just let the people ride through. Maybe they got lost, or maybe they just want to ride through the neighborhood and just see what the houses look like. Stop automatically assuming the worst, because if you assume the worst, and it could be someone that means you some good, but because of your hatred, because of that dark side that lies within you, you don't even give the person a chance. Now, see, that's sad. That's sad. And I'm not going to get religious on anyone because, you think about all this hate, and I will say this, and no one knows, what color God is. And if there is such thing as a judgment day, what do you say to the Father? What do you say to the Father when he happens to be of a certain color, a certain race, and maybe the race that you've hated all your life? But what difference does it make when you have a Father that's full of love and want unity among all of his people? How do you answer that question? Why did you hate your brother? Why did you hate your sister? You all were created by me. So why would you take it upon yourself to hate someone when I have created all of you out of love? How do you answer that, man? That's on a whole different level. That's on a whole different level when I think about love and when I think about hate, because I couldn't answer it. I couldn't answer that because I just couldn't answer it. I don't think any one of us could answer that question. So we better be careful and stay out of the dark side. And if we were in the dark side, and if we're in the light now, I applaud you. I applaud you, because we all have been there in the dark side one time or another. And if that darkness has made us see the light in which we may be living presently, so be it. So my message this evening is, pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to the dark side. Pay attention to your emotions. Don't let the media and all this negative publicity keep you in the dark, because we're already dealing with so many things like personal things, relationships, finances, jobs. We're already dealing with all that. We don't need nothing else to come in and hinder us from getting ahead in life. We don't need nothing like that. If you are unhappy with your job, get another job. If you're unhappy in your relationship, get another relationship. If you're unhappy with your car, get another car. Don't stay in the dark forever, because if you stay in the dark, you will never reach the light. If the car is breaking down, get another car. If your relationship is not working, hey, get out that dark relationship and get into a relationship where there's an equal relationship, where there's a 50-50 thing. If it's a job that you don't like, get out of that job, but make sure you find another one before you leave that job. So my message, again, this evening is stay out of the darkness. And if you feel that you are constantly in the dark and nothing is going your way, take a look at who and what is in your darkness and move on into the light. Thank you. This has been Ryal Thomas, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.